بيكم أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الثالث الإعدادي في حلقة جديدة من حلقات مادة الساينس تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to make a general revision on the syllabus as a kind of models. Let's go through the models of the exam with a varieties of different types of questions. يلا, be ready and answer with me. Let's start with the first question is choose the correct answer. Before we start this kind of questions, I have to tell you simple information about this type of question. لما نيجي نجاوب سؤال choose, you have to answer it لوحدك alone and then start to choose from the correct answers, because sometimes انت بتrush yourself and start to choose any one of the answers وبتبقى it's not the right answer. So answer it and then try to choose. Let's start. The binary fission reproduction takes place in. بيحصل فين الباينري fission؟ أكيد جاوبته. يلا. In amoeba and hydra, or yeast and bacteria, amoeba and sponge, or bacteria and euglena. Let's see the answer. Of course, the binary fission takes place in only bacteria and euglena, by which it's split into two cells which are identical to the parent cell. The second question, the two gases which presents within the minutes of the Big Bang Theory. أول gases evolved during the Big Bang Theory. What are the gases? Of course, you know quite well the gases. Either it's helium and hydrogen. From the scalar physical quantities, which of those are scalar physical quantities? Either radius and area, time and force, or acceleration and speed, mass and displacement. In this type of question, sometimes بيجيب لي واحدة scalar and one vector in the same answer. So you have to concentrate well to choose both of them are scalar quantities. So which are the scalar quantities? Radius and area. This is the answer. Next. A nuclear explosion of a star near to the sun according to the Fred Hoyle theory. What is the result from this phenomena? إيه اللي حصل؟ إيه الريزلت من nuclear explosion from the theory of Fred Hoyle theory بعد ما حصل nuclear explosion? Let's think. دايما لما يسألني على الريزلت يبقى أفكر what happens if. هو نفس الكويستشن بتاع what happens if. So what happens after the nuclear explosion? Of course, the amount of gaseous materials resulted due to this explosion, which then start to be cooled, solidified, and forming the solar system. يبقى at the beginning هتقول إن many gases are scattered or formed due to this explosion, and finally resulted to the formation of the solar system. A starfish loses one of its arms, which has a part of a central disk. What happens or what is the result لما الستارفيش بيمس part of it, حتة من الستارفيش تمس from the central disk. I said before from the central disk because it's the growing area. هي part of the growth of the any missing part. So what happens? Of course, the animal will compensate its missing part. هيطلع جزء جديد جدا من animal. And what about the rest? And here the animal will compensate the missing part. وsometimes كمان الميسنج بارت لو اللي هو بيمس او بيتقطع من living organism بيميك another living organism in one condition if the cutting from the growing area which is the central disk. يبقى here the answer, the missing part will compensate it from the living organisms. Next one, putting an object in front of a convex lens at its focus. الريزلت لو حطينا object on the focus of the convex lens. We know quite well إن إحنا لما بنيجي بنحط الأوبجكت start from an area and start to let's go nearer to the optical center or to the optical center of the convex lens. Here in this case إيه اللي هيحصل لو حطينا الأوبجكت على الفوكس؟ Why he asked in this case especially because it's a rare case. هي case محددة من نوعها أو unique case اللي هي no image is formed، ما بيحصلش image في الحالة دي. why؟ due to the refracted rays بتبقى parallel to the infinity، بتطلع parallel to the infinity so they never intersect together so never form an image. So the answer here is no image is formed. You can complete your answer due to the formation of parallel refracted ray to the infinity. Here we have a very important figure that's in all the model exams بيبقى موجود عندنا. بيقول لي study the following figure and explain the steps of one biological phenomena and then answer the question. أول question على الفيجر بيقول لي what is the name of the phenomena. Of course all of you know it because we repeat it several times. It is a crossing over phenomena because it's very important phenomena. Because of that we repeat it. Crossing over phenomena. So the second question, mention the phase in which this phenomena occurs. بتحصل في which phase? Of course you know at the end of prophase 1. Of course you know it. At the end of prophase 1. What is the type of cell division? بتحصل في which type of cell division? In which type? طالما قلت prophase 1 يبقى أكيد في meiosis or meiotic division. So it happens during meiosis or meiotic division. The last question on the figure, he asks me about what are the results which are produced if that phenomena did not happen. إيه اللي هيحصل لو الفينومينا ده مش هتحصل؟ doesn't happen. أكيد في حاجة كانت بتحصل مش هتحصل. What's this happen؟ ولا إيه اللي هيحصل؟ In this case هيحصل كل living organisms هتبقى identical. So there is no variation among living organisms because due to this phenomena بيحصل variation among living organisms of the same species. So living organism ما تبقاش typical to each other. طبعا ده بنتكلم على higher living organisms either higher animals or the human being. فبيحصل إن الكوبيز living organisms ما بتبقاش copy paste from each other. So الانسر here هيبقى no genetic variation occurs so all the living organisms بتبقى identical to the same species. Another type of question, write scientific term of each statement. The first question, a sexual reproduction occurs by different parts of the plant without needing seeds. Here, the question ده very easy because if you answer it according to the words, guiding words اللي عندي هنا بيقول لي بيحصل في البلانت، فأنا ما عنديش غير هو only one asexual reproduction happens in the plant. and كمان مديني another keyword without needing a seed، مش بيحتاج seed. So I have only one type of asexual reproduction that occur in the plant without needing a seed, so it is vegetative reproduction. The answer is vegetative reproduction. The actual length of the path that a moving object covered from the starting point to the ending point. برضو I have a keyword here which is actual length from starting point to ending point. الانسر هنشوف الانسر it's the distance. هنا طالما ما قاليش direction فبالتالي انا بيقول الاكتوال لينث المسافه المحسوبه وانا بمشي من starting point to ending point, so here it's the distance. الانسر is the distance. Arrangement, harmony and distinctive shapes of the groups of stars in the universe. It's a very easy question. Here الهارموني مين اللي بيمشوا في harmony in the space? Of course galaxies. The answer is galaxies. Next, the thread-like bodies present in the cell's nuclei and they represent the genetic material of living organisms. ايه الشكل اللي شكله عامل زي الثريدز وموجود جوه النيوكليوس وريسبونسبل فور الجينيتيك انفورميشن؟ اوف كورس اتس ذا chromosomes. The answer is the chromosomes. Another question which is when will the following things happen؟ يعني امتى الحاجه اللي هتتقال دي بتحصل؟ when it happens. When happens? The distance covered by the body equal the amount of the displacement. فأنهي case الديستنس بتبقى هي the same as the displacement. Actually if I measure the distance بلاقيها هي the same displacement. Of course إمتى؟ When the body moves in straight line in a certain direction. يعني مشي مسافة معينة in a certain direction but in straight line. if you measure the distance هتبقى هي actually هي the same as the displacement. يبقى the answer here when the body moves in straight line in a certain direction. When the reflection of light rays falls on a spherical mirror on itself. إمتى الرeflection of the light ray بيبقى on itself? If it falls passing through the center of curvature. يعني لما الراي بيمر بالcenter of curvature of the mirror هي الكيس الوحيدة that the ray will reflect on itself. لما بنيجي نرسمه بنعمله reflection on itself without any angles وقلنا قبل كده الانجل equal 0. Next type of question we are going to see another type of question on the board. Let's together solve it on the board. Okay, let's see this type of question on the board. Here the question is rewrite the following statements after correction and underline of the underlined word. Here in this type of question you have to read it well لأن بعض الأنواع من الquestion دي you have to solve it الأول and then you are going to correct the answer. يعني مش بcorrecته كده haphazard. You have to solve it first. Let's see the first question and read it quite well. In the opposite figure an object moves eastward. أنا عندي object هنا moving eastward. Okay يعني ماشي في الدايركشن ده. From point A to point B. And then during 2 seconds يعني هو قطع المسافة دي في in 2 seconds. ده التايم بتاعي التايم here equal 2 seconds. Then so its average so then it moves northward طلع للشمال هنا قطع 3 meters in another 3 seconds. Here خد 3 seconds التايم equal 3 seconds. So its average velocity through the period is 1.4 meter per second. هو he asks me هو هل ال average velocity هت equal this amount اللي هي 1.4 meter per second. Let's solve it and see it's right or not. لأنه بيقول لي rewrite. طيب here he asked me about velocity. بيقول لي على velocity. طيب نقف هنا وقفة. What's meant by velocity؟ هي velocity اللي هي displacement covered by the body in time. طيب here this movement body أو الأوبجكت اللي ماشي ده which part of this part considered displacement؟ نرجع نشوف الدisplacement هو it's the straight line from the beginning or starting point to the ending point اللي هي C. So here the displacement is 5 centimeter. يبقى displacement here equal 5 meter. This is the amount of the displacement. Okay? طيب here I want to calculate the velocity. الvelocity عندي ليها rule. What's the rule of velocity? Velocity equal displacement over time. Here, what is the amount of displacement here? It's 5 meter. Why I choose this? لأن هي ده اللي مشي straight line من A to C. So if I want to calculate the velocity هاخد ال displacement. So the displacement here equal 5. طيب what about the time? البادي ده قطع one straight line من A to C بس التوتال time اللي خده في المسافة كلها I have to take all the time which is 2 seconds plus ال 3 seconds. So here divided 2 plus 2 plus 3 which is the total time covered by the body. So the answer here equal 5 over 5. So the answer here is 1. The velocity here اليونت بتاعتها meter per second. So the answer here it's not correct. So I have to correct it. So the actual answer here is 1 meter per second. Of course here it's a kind of problem. The problem لازم أحلها and then I'm going to rewrite the question. Okay, next one. If the angle between the incident light ray and the reflecting surface, here I have to draw it first and then I'm going to answer. بيقول لي ايه؟ if the angle between the incident light ray, so here I have the mirror and here the incident light ray, and I have to put the normal line. This is the incident light ray. If the angle between the incident light ray and the reflecting surface, ادي incident light ray, this is the incident, and here is the reflecting surface. بيقول لي angle between this and this, the incident and the reflecting surface. This is the reflecting surface. Here is 30 degree. بيقول لي الانجل دي is 30 degree. So the angle of reflection, which is هنعمل reflection للlight ray. ادي اللايت ray, so حصل له reflection. بيقول لي so the angle of reflection, which is this angle, equal 30. هو بيسألني بيقول لي هي 30. طيب let's go كده ونفكر مع بعض. Here it's not the angle of incident, it's the angle between the incident light ray and the reflecting surface. So I need to get this angle first عشان أقدر أشوف ال reflecting angle صح ولا غلط. So from this part I know that if I want to get the angle of incidence, أنا عايزة دلوقتي ال angle of incidence هجيبها ازاي؟ equal 90, which is the right angle, minus 30, which is the angle between the incident light ray and the reflecting surface. So هيديني 60 degree, which is here is the amount of the angle of incidence. So هاجي اقول له since I have a rule, الرول بيقول لي ايه؟ angle of incidence equal angle of reflection. ده رول عندي. طيب يبقى انا طالما انا عندي الانجل اوف incidence equal angle of reflection, يبقى of course هيطلع الانجل of reflection is 60. So here it's not right and the correction is 60 degree, which is the correction of the problem. يبقى here I have to الأول answer it and then I'm going to correct the answer. Okay, let's continue the next part of the questions. Here he asked me about, to complete the rewrite, rewrite the following statement after correcting the underlined word. Also, yeast fungus produces asexually by regeneration. Now, عارفين ان yeast fungus are reproducing by kind of asexual reproduction, which is budding. So I'm going to correct regeneration to budding. Next question. When the object covers the double distance of the same time, at the same time, so its speed decreases to quarter. يعني أنا ماشية بسرعة, then I'm going to double the distance. ماشية مسافة معينة, so I double the distance at the same time. So if I want to calculate the speed, هلاقي السبيد بتاعتي إيه؟ Of course it's not decreased, it's increasing. طيب الأماونت بتاعتها قد إيه؟ أنا لما عملت doubling the distance, so here the correction here the increasing to the double, بزادت للدبل. Mention the difference between each of the following. أنا هنا like comparison بس مديها لي بطريقة تانية, بيقول لي mention the difference. يعني he going to tell me about the regular speed and irregular speed, ايه differences ما بينهم. يبقى I'm going to easily define both, والاتنين أكيد مختلفين, so this is the differences. What is the definition of the regular speed? It's the speed by which the body covered equal distance at equal period of time. يبقى here body cover equal distance and equal period of time. What about the irregular speed? It's a speed by which the body covered equal distance but at unequal intervals or period of time, or العكس, unequal distance at equal period of time. Here he wants the difference between the virtual image and in the concave lens and the virtual image in the convex lens. أنا عارفة إن أنا الفيرتشوال ايمج ديت لها مواصفات معينة إن هي it will form behind the lens أو behind في الميرور. Here هو عايز بس ان انا get a difference between the virtual image in the two cases, in the case of concave lens and in the case of the concave mirror. طيب احنا لما بنيجي نرسم بنشوف in the case of concave lens احنا عندنا only one case of the concave lens وكانت الايمج بتطلع لي ايه شكلها diminished. يعني ايه diminished؟ يعني minimized، صغيرة. while in the case of the convex mirror كانت بتحصل الفيرتشوال ايمج اللي بتحصل كانت magnified. يبقى الديفرنس here that the virtual image in the concave mirror is diminished while in the case of the convex lens, الكيسز بتاعت اللانس here is magnified. Next question is give reason for. The pilot takes in consideration the velocity of the wind during flying. Here it's very important للبايلوتس لازم يتمم على الدايركشن اوف ويند وعلى كل حاجه كتير قوي، بس اهم حاجه الدايركشن اوف ويند. واي؟ due to هو في التريبس بتاعته ديت بيحتاج فيول، so according to the direction of wind he can imagine او can taken in consideration that the amount of fuel هتكفي الجيرني بتاعته ولا لا. So the answer is because the wind direction detects the time of the trip and also the amount of fuel that affect the speed. يبقى حاجتين هما الفيول and the time taken for the trip or the journey. The mitotic division is very important for the child's body and not the meiotic division. Here البيبيز وهي بتكبر بتحتاج أنهي نوع أو إيه المهم بالنسبة لها، الميتوتيك ديفيجن ولا الميوزس؟ Of course هنا هرجع للimportance بتاع الديفيجن. Which one of them help in the growth of living organisms? Of course the mitotic. So ليه الchild بيحتاج الميتوتيك division? Because it helps in the growth of the babies. So here the answer is because leads to the growth which is important for the child body. Next, the universe is a continuous expansion. ليه اليونيفرس is in continuous expansion؟ I said before أول ما ألاقي كلمة continuous expansion أرجع على طول وأقول due to the movement of the galaxies away from each other. ألاقي galaxies away هقول continuous expansion of the universe. هما الاتنين related لبعض وكل واحدة depending على other. So the answer because it's due to the continuous of movement of the galaxies away from each other. Most of people cannot write in a correct way while they are seeing a paper through the plane mirror. أنا لو حطيت paper in the plane mirror ما بقدرش أقرأ كويس. ليه؟ Because the image will be laterally inverted معكوسة so I can't read it well. يبقى the plane mirror forms laterally inverted image for the object. The reproduction by spores is one of the forms of asexual reproduction. ليه؟ هنا كأني بيقول لي اعرف لي يعني ايه معنى الاسexual reproduction. ليه reproduction by spores is a kind of asexual reproduction? Because it happens by only one parent or one individuals. يعني because it developed through one parental individual. Next type of question بيقول لي mention the name of the phase in which the following changes occurs during cell division. The first occurrence is at the end of the nucleus and the nuclear membrane disappear. أنهي phase اللي بيحصل فيه at the end in the nuclear membrane والnucleus disappear vanished? Of course in the prophase. Yes, it's in the prophase. The phase in which two identical and separated groups of chromatids are formed. أنهي phase اللي بيحصل فيه separation and two chromatids are formed? Of course it's in the anaphase. Now we reached the last part in our lesson, our revision of today. See you next time and goodbye.